Comuna 13 in Medellin, Colombia, is a small neighborhood known for their tourism and welcoming community. However, it wasn't always like this. In 2002, Operation Orion, a secret police operation launched to destroy Comuna 13, highlights the difficult balance between a government's responsibility to protect its citizens from violence and terrorism and its duty to respect individual rights and freedoms. Through its tactics, Operation Orion served as a horrific example that upholding justice requires careful consideration of human rights. Many historians argue that the citizens of Comuna 13's rights were undermined and destroyed, while others say that the Colombian government did what it had to do to destroy its reputation of being the notorious murder capital of the world.
In the 1960s, the Colombian government promoted industrial farming, pushing out small family farms. This created conflict, leading to the rise of armed groups like the FARC, also known as the Revolutionary Armed Forces. To fund themselves, the FARC mass-produced coca to make cocaine. Pablo Escobar saw an opportunity and began smuggling Colombian cocaine worldwide. In the late 1900s, Comuna 13 was run by the infamous drug lord Pablo Escobar. His reign of violence turned Comuna 13 into his empire, having an army of 1 million homeless citizens and creating the Medellin cartel, which supplied 80% of the world's cocaine. Even after he was killed by the Colombian government in 1993, his life created a historical impact for the future of Comuna 13, with the Medellin cartel continuing to kill hundreds of people while releasing havoc on the community.
After the death of El Patron, guerrilla gangs and paramilitary continued the war in the favelas of Medellin. Specifically, Comuna 13, one of 16 communes in Medellin, home to more than 200,000 Colombians, was one of the main war grounds. In the 1900s, Comuna 13 was run by violent drug trafficking organizations who used the poor, sprawling hillside barrio as a transit route in and out of the city and served as a stronghold for guerrillas, gangs, and paramilitaries. Gangs like the remnants of the Medellin cartel recruited children as young as 12 years old to serve as lookouts, couriers, or even hitmen.
Si yo vivía en una cuadra o en un barrio, yo no podía pasar hacia otro barrio porque me mataban. El papel que desarrolló la policía era que todos eran corruptos, todos eran comprados por la mafia o por los mafiosos.
It was so chaotic that the police rarely entered, and when they did, they faced heavy resistance. People who lived there were trapped in fear, with no escape. Alone, there were over 1,000 reported kidnappings in Medellin, many of them tied to cartel operations in Comuna 13. Schools and businesses were forced to close, and families stayed indoors, terrified of bullets suddenly raining down on them. By 2002, nearly 50% of the population in Comuna 13 lived in extreme poverty.
Que no se podía jugar, no se podía salir, para hacer tareas, comprar mercado era muy complicado.
On October 16, 2002, the Colombian government launched Operation Orion, one of the largest military offensives in urban Colombia. The operation was meant to take back Comuna 13 from drug cartels, guerrilla groups, and paramilitaries who had turned the neighborhood into a stronghold of violence. Over 1,500 soldiers, police officers, and intelligence agents participated in the operation, using helicopters, tanks, and heavy artillery in an assault that lasted for around a week. For the 200,000 residents of Comuna 13, it was a terrifying and life-changing event. During that week, the streets of Comuna 13 became a war zone. At least 9 confirmed civilians tragically died, however, hundreds more are suspected of being killed. Nearly 100 civilians were injured, many of them from raining bullets and explosives. More than 300 people were arrested, many of whom had no connections to criminal groups, and thousands of residents went missing. La Escombrera, a mountain dump site in Comuna 13, has been a place of constant complaints by relatives of the disappeared and social organizations, as it is said that several dozen, perhaps hundreds of missing people lay under its rubble. Fear gripped the residents of Comuna 13 as gunfire and explosion echoed day and night. The military conducted house-to-house searches, detaining men, women, and even teenagers suspected of collaborating with cartel groups. Families hid wherever they could, under beds, in closets, or in basements. The operation wasn't just a fight against cartels. However, it was a coordinated effort against the guerrilla groups like the Revolutionary Armed Forces and the National Liberation Army. Over 400 homes were damaged, some completely destroyed by artillery or tank fire. Essential infrastructure like water lines and electricity grids were also heavily damaged, leaving thousands without power or clean water for weeks. In total, the operation displaced an estimated 2,000 people, forcing them to flee their homes and seek refuge somewhere else in Medellin. Despite its brutality, the government declared Operation Orion a success, claiming it had dismantled the stronghold of guerrilla and cartel activity in Comuna 13, but the price was staggering. At least 70% of casualties during Operation Orion were civilians. Families mourned their loved ones, and those who survived were left with deep trauma. Many in Comuna 13 felt abandoned, treated not as citizens but as collateral damage in a war they had no rights in.
Yo quiero que la gente entienda que nada, absolutamente nada, justifica la violencia que se vivió en la Comuna 13.
Human rights organizations like the Corporación Jurídica Libertad, an organization based in Medellin, estimates that over 100 legal cases have been filed related to abuses committed during the operation, including extrajudicial killings and disappearances. Was the government's decision to launch Operation Orion necessary to protect its people, or was it disregarding its respect for its citizens' individual rights and freedoms?
The president of Colombia by that time, Álvaro Uribe Vélez, clearly he doesn't care about human rights in Orion operation at all.
After Operation Orion, people were devastated, buildings were destroyed, families were broken apart, and lives were ruined. The process of rebuilding Comuna 13 began. The Colombian government stepped in to help restore order and reduce crime. One key effort was the Justice and Peace Law of 2005. This law helped demobilize thousands of paramilitary fighters, including those who had terrorized Comuna 13, making the area safer for residents. In Medellin as a whole, violent deaths dropped from over 6,000 in 2002 to less than 2,000 by 2005. Showing how important this effort was in reducing crime. Another major step was improving infrastructure. The local development plan brought much needed resources to Comuna 13. Between the years 2003 and 2007, the government invested millions upon millions of dollars into rebuilding homes, roads, schools, and parks in the area. These centers became a safe place for children and teens, helping reduce the number of young people joining gangs. In the year 2011, the government installed the Escaladas Eléctricas, a series of outdoor escalators that extend for 1,260 feet, connecting parts of the once chaotic and isolated hillside neighborhood to the city below and shortening the time up the hill. Through a combination of their own hard work, community-driven efforts, and some government help, the people of Comuna 13 transformed their neighborhood. While the rebuilding process wasn't easy, the resilience and determination helped create a safer and stronger community.
Today, Comuna 13 bursts with color and sound, a far cry from its dark past. Walking through its narrow streets, visitors are surrounded by massive murals painted on nearly every wall, each a vibrant explosion of colors. These murals, created by local artists, tell powerful stories of struggle, resilience, and hope. With over 60 large-scale artworks, the neighborhood has become a living, breathing canvas. Music fills the air as well, especially the beats of hip-hop and reggaeton. Local youth groups use music to express their experiences and dreams. Hip-hop workshops held in the community have reached thousands of kids, teaching them not just music, but also skills like teamwork and storytelling.
The art there, they have the dance, the theater, everything. There now it's amazing. The art, across the art, they express all their feelings about the violence and war. I think the art saved their lives.
The transformation hasn't just been cultural, it's been economic too. Unemployment in Comuna 13 has dropped by over 25% in the last decade. The story of Comuna 13 reflects the responsibility of governments to ensure security while upholding the rights of their citizens. Operation Orion's legacy highlights the cost of neglecting these rights in pursuit of safety, embodying the theme of rights and responsibilities through their journey. It stands as a reminder that even in the darkest places, people can rise, rebuild, and create something beautiful for the world to see.